morning. Thank you for staying with us on Daybreak. We have in studio, I will start with you, Akili John Wesonga, who is an advocate. We have sitting next to him, Tanya Ruguru, who is an artist. We have sitting next to her, Young Commander, who is a rapper. We have sitting next to him, Maria Prude, who is a model and creative. We have presenter Ali, who is a digital entrepreneur. And then we have, Sybil? You don't know, yeah, Sybil. Okay, so Sybil Colette, who is an actress. Mafans ni wengi. But let's come to you, Tanya. So you're a musician. Mm-hmm. So I've seen you perform because I follow you on socials.
Yeah.
But in terms of, do you write your own music? Or do you have somebody ghostwrite for you? Or it's a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. I write my own music, and at times, especially a few years ago, I would go into the studio with a few writers. And honestly, I felt like it was the best experience. We would usually create the most amazing songs. If I could, I would get a bunch of writers in a room and create music together, in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what genre do you?
I'd say I don't have a genre. I usually just make whatever I feel sounds nice. Right now, I'm trying to make a rock song, which is so interesting. But I don't have a genre. I just hear something, I like it, and I want to create.
All right.
Yeah.
So, do you have an album out, or?
Yeah, I have an EP out, and I'm currently working on another EP that I'll release, hopefully, most likely next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Forgive my half-asleep state. What's an EP?
Oh, it's an extended playlist, kind of a short album, 4 songs, 5 songs around there, whereas an album would have 12 songs or 15 songs. It's a short album.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you work with a specific producer?
I work with a lot of producers. Right now, I'm working with a specific producer for the EP I'll release next year. But in the past, I've been working with a lot of different producers. Yeah.
Right, so the rock song will go in the...
Yeah, hopefully, if I get it right. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you've been doing this for how long?
I've been doing this since 2016,
yeah, so professionally.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your main income stream?
Let's say on a good month, around 100K, 100 to 150. On a bad month, actually, let's say 200K on a good month. It's very fluctuates a lot. On a bad month, it's nothing. So it kind of just goes up and down. Yeah, you have to just prepare for the fluctuations. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and mainly from what, performances?
Yeah, mainly from performances and brand deals, regular shows and everything. Yeah.
Okay, so you have scheduled performances?
Yeah, kind of. Currently, yes. But sometimes I could go months without a performance. So it fluctuates. It's not steady at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like Wednesdays we can always find you at?
Okay, right now, at the end of the month on Sundays, you can always find me at Smokies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so do you work with a band?
Yeah, I do. I work with a few bands, around 3, let's say 3 to 4 bands. Yeah, and they're all very unique in their own different ways. One band is like a rock band. They're rock stars, really. Another band is very mellow, and then another band is just really big and there's a lot going on. So yeah, different bands.
Are they familiar with your songs?
Yeah, they really
are. How do you like to do your shows?
Mm-hmm, they are. But again, it's always different with each different band. When I want to have a really nice, mellow show, I'll perform with the people that I know will be very nice, very mellow, very beautiful. When I want to crash out and jump around, then I know who to call. But they all know my songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, Commander, when there are events, are you a featuring artist or are you being given platforms?
I'm featuring artists. I've reached a point in my life where if I'm told I'm providing you with a platform, I just will not respond. I can't lie. Because what does that entail? In the current economy and the situation that we're in right now, you giving me a platform and unless you're Beyonce, you know, what am I really gaining from this platform? Yeah. Yeah, so I don't take that anymore at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you on any of the streaming platforms?
Yeah, I am. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, all at Rogoro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of distribution of your music, the EPs, you do it all online?
Yeah, I do it all online. There's some instances where I have a distributor who will take care of kind of a playlisting situation where they'll pitch my song to Spotify or Apple Music to be featured in, you know, the way you usually see like New Music Daily or Nairobi on Spotify. They'll pitch so that I can be on those playlists. Sometimes it's me and my team specifically pitching, so it kind of just depends on the release.
So you have a manager?
Yeah, I do. A great manager. He's so cool.
So you've had him all along?
Yeah, I've had him for a few years now. Not since I began, but for some time now, yeah.
So what difference does it make to have a manager? Because you've been without one, you have one now.
Yeah, it makes a lot of a difference because sometimes doing things by yourself can get very overwhelming and you can forget to do certain things, kind of lose momentum because it's just you motivating yourself. So having a manager, having someone there to like constantly update you and keep you busy, hold you accountable as well, it's really important. And there's some things that also like I can do, yes, I can do them, but I may not be able to do them very well when it comes to like the business aspect of music. So it's good to have some help when it comes to that.
So they book your shows, they negotiate your contracts?
Yeah. Another thing is negotiating contracts and kind of handling event organizers. It can be difficult for me as a musician because like people will see me and they'll be like, oh, she's such a sweet girl. You know what, let's just tell her this is what we're going to do. You know, we're going to give her a platform. We're going to give her exposure because she's so nice. She can't say anything. But then now I have my big bad manager that's there like, no, that's not what we're doing. And he'll be able to handle that for me.
So how do you promote your music?
I usually promote it on social media, on TikTok, random dances and videos and all of that, promotions as well, rather paying for ads on social media and everything, yeah.
Okay. So we'll put a pin in it. We'll come back. But just quickly, are you record label or independent?
Independent.
Independent.
Yeah.
All right. So presenter Ali.
Yes.
How do you transition from a content creator to a digital entrepreneur? Maria is asking.
Okay, I think...
Easy. Just easy.
I think it is very important for every creator to actually understand the business aspect of it, because once I hit around 200,000 subscribers, I realized that I was really famous out there. I would meet people and they were telling me, Ali, we love you, we are your fans, we watch your content. But at the end of the day, I didn't have anything. I could not actually monetize my craft. So I decided to venture into the business part of it, kind of to understand each and every platform. For example, when you go to YouTube, there's what we call the CPM, there's what we call the RPM. There are many things that you really need to understand per platform to actually be able to know how to, monetize it well. So when it comes to YouTube, you have to know how do I create content that, first of all, is easy to monetize, because you're going to create content, it's going to go viral, and then YouTube can give you what we call a yellow dollar sign. For example, that means that, yes, your content is good, but it's not eligible for monetization. Probably if you create content like content with violence, that is why I think a few years ago, when people were doing the loyalty test thing, they kind of stopped because they were not making any money from it because of the violence that was, involved. So I got to study YouTube as a whole, got to understand a few things about all platforms. And one main thing that sadly I came to realize is that the content creator economy is actually not made for Africans. That's the first thing you need to know. Because you see, these structures, they're not African. So the way they build these platforms is in such a way that the African creator is at a disadvantage. So first of all, let's look at first thing. Let's look at how we generate revenue from different platforms. That's Meta, that's TikTok and YouTube. When it comes to Meta and YouTube, you realize that, first of all, the advertisers who pay in Africa are not able to pay as much as, the big advertisers outside Africa. So, for example, you'll find someone advertising their business on YouTube. That is where your viewers are, right? So the ads that are going to run are basically going to come from the revenue the advertisers paid YouTube, because basically YouTube takes like 45% and then you get like 55%. So at the end of the day, as a creator in Kenya, you're going to realize that you are earning less because the advertisers are paying less. Second thing, why I feel like we are disadvantaged is the fact that many advertisers, their CTAs or their call to actions are mainly, maybe buy a product online, maybe install this app, but here in Africa or in Kenya per se, we do not interact with ads. We just wait to skip. Because you see, if I watch the ad and I comply with the CTA, maybe the CTA says, download this app. If I download, the creator will make more money. But now here in Africa or in Kenya, we just wait to skip the ad. So that shows you that as a creator, first of all, you're not going to be making a lot of money because the advertisers are paying less. That is on Meta and on YouTube. Second thing, the viewers do not interact with the ads. They just wait to skip.
But are there places where people interact with ads?
Yes. I think in the Western countries, they have the culture of, they've just been watching YouTube and then they see something beautiful and they just click and buy it.
Okay.
But here we
are broke. I'm kidding.
It's just a culture. So I had to now try and see how am I going to be able to make, this money. The money is there, but you really need to figure out how you're going to make it. So one of the way that a creator can actually do is create content that is not necessarily being consumed by Kenyans or by Africans. Create content that can be internationally accepted in such a way that if I create content for, let's say, people who are in Dubai, people who are outside Kenya, who pay more who are in countries where the CPM is high, where the advertisers are paying so much, it means that I will tap into their audience. So in as much as I'm creating content from Kenya, maybe I have viewers from USA, it will mean that the ads that will run are not the ads that are in Kenya, but the ads that are in USA. So you are able to tap that. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. This is a masterclass, guys.
I agree.
We are taking notes.
I agree.
Yeah. And then also, maybe another thing that is very important is just getting to understand. I got now from a point of just creating, just 5 videos, 2 videos a day, to just now going to create what I call evergreen content. Because most people are always, even in music, what we call lifetime music, most people are always about going viral, but people do not understand that virality doesn't last. It will last for like a month, at most to 3 months. So when you come to YouTube videos per se, if I create a video, let's say Eric Omondi has been arrested, okay? Everyone will rush to watch that video. So it could get like 50K, 100K views and then get stuck there. Then he's released, same thing happens. But if I create a video on how to do a proper interview as a media personality, for example, per se, for you, that is something that is searchable worldwide. That is something that even in the next 20 years, people will still be interested to watch. So right now you could get like 100, 1,000 views, but in the long run, you have created a passive income for yourself in such a way that if you have a good portfolio of such content, you're going to be even able to make money even when you're not creating. So you do not have the pressure to always create viral content. Because you see, viral content will get you the views and the money for like a week, for like a month, for like 2-3 months, and then it's done. Because if Eric Omondi is arrested and then you post it, I'm just using that as an example. If he's arrested today, everyone will rush to watch. But trust me, after he's released,
that's it.
They'll not watch the arrested video, they'll watch the released one. And then next week, something else will happen that is probably viral and no one will care about your video. Okay. So you'll just be having a video that got 100K views but doesn't move. So you have to create what we call evergreen content. Content that is consumable, you know, for like 2-3 years, 5 years, you're just seated and making money out of it. So you can imagine, like we have over almost 2,000 videos on my YouTube channel, and I think around 60% is evergreen. So I can decide not to create content for like 2-3 months, and I'm still okay. I'm still making money off of YouTube. But for someone who's always creating the viral content, they realize that whenever they stop creating, they stop making the money. Now, heading on to TikTok, I think also we are disadvantaged in that we do not have a creators program for Africa. We only have creators program for countries outside Africa where people are getting paid like $3, $2 per 1,000 views. But in Kenya, we have people creating massive content, getting millions of views, but they are not actually able to make money from that. So there are also different ways, of course, that Kenyans make money from TikTok. I think that is from, you know, going live and, you know, people gifting you. But for me, how I use my TikTok is just mainly to route people into my YouTube to actually be able to watch my videos so that I can make money off it. So this whole process of learning, I've even had to pay some master classes online, you know, just to get to understand this. And I think this is one important thing that creators really need to do. You should come from just a point of just being a creator to actually understanding the business part of it. Otherwise, you're going to be so famous, but you're not going to have anything. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. That really was a must. Yeah. All right. So, Sybil, like, what's the biggest role you've played to date?
What's the biggest role?
Yeah.
In terms of numbers or in terms of character?
Character.
Well, the current one that I'm doing, which is on DSTV, Maisha Magic, called Lulu. I'm a detective, guys, imagine, at 4:11. But yes, that's, I would say, biggest in terms of platform, but I would not rate it as biggest any other way, because every character is different and they're all on different platforms. There's some on Netflix, there's some on Showmax, there's some on Maisha Magic. This is now on DSTV, Maisha Magic. So in terms of the platform, I would not say that there's any bigger one than the other, but then this one currently, because it's the one that's running for a longer period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the majority of roles you get, right? Like when you have a show like Lulu, right? That's a series.
Yeah.
Like, do you tend to lean that way, or do you can do various projects at the same time?
It depends on the project that you get onto. You can sometimes do different projects at the same time, depending on just how you arrange your schedule, how you plan with the different productions. Maybe I'll be here up to this time and then I can go here at this particular time, or I can do this on this day and this one on this other day. And then there's some that are very tight, like maybe for like a month or two, you can't do anything else except that, and then it's done. And then there are others that are a bit long-lasting, like Lulu right now, I think it's gonna run for like a year. So I can't be able to juggle it with many other things because I'm basically there every other day, including today. After this interview, I'm supposed to be going there. So it's one of the most stable ones that I've gotten. And that is a very, very interesting thing to get as an actor because of how unstable our industry is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Unstable in terms of getting jobs?
Just like any other piece of art, acting and any other production has seasons. And there are times when it's peak seasons and there are times when it's low seasons. There are times when you're the face that is very much needed or relevant, and there are times when you're not. And it's very important for you as a creator to understand your seasons so that you can be able to maximize them and be able to get what what else you can do in the times when it's not your very high season. But I'm very grateful that I've been among the most consistent actors in Kenya. I don't think there's a year that I have not been working on a project. And that is a privilege that is not accorded to many. Yeah.
All right. So there's a time we saw people that when the president was on the state visit to the US, and we saw them visit like the Tyler Perry studios. How would you rank Kenya's production in terms of film, in terms of television?
Are you asking vis-a-vis the Tyler Perry thing?
The Tyler Perry thing. Nigeria is a big
Yes, and
market.
South Africa and benchmarking. Okay.
Yeah.
So now the film industry in Kenya has not yet gotten to those levels, I would say, because like right now we do not have like a particular film studio where you can go and it has almost every set built. You know, like Tyler Perry Studios, there's everything there, including the White House, so you can go shoot your project just there. But then here we move to different locations because we still do not have a film studio set in place, which was among the manifestos that we're still waiting for under Ruto at 3. So I don't know when that is going to happen, but we are hopeful. So productions are basically just self-sourcing locations and basically everything that they need to do with regards to film production. Unlike other countries like South Africa and Nigeria, where the government is very supportive and comes in with private sector, they combine efforts and everything to try and make this particular sector grow because they know it's among the very important sectors in their country that's bringing in tourism, that's raising the GDP, that's making their country very much visible to the outside world. I think Kenya, when it comes to that, has been very much reluctant. And content creation is what has made Kenya realize that, oh, entertainment and the creative economy is something we should actually look at. And so when they were looking at things to do with taxation, that is where they found where they can start attacking, when they realized, wait a minute, these people are not just acting, they're not just doing things, they're pushing products, they are making people make money, they're pushing businesses, and now everybody has run into this world and this industry. And this is when Kenya is waking up to realizing that, whereas other countries have been on the know about it. Yeah.
So, I mean, unemployment in Kenya is
very high.
A big problem.
Yeah.
Do you think the creative economy is one of the avenues that, if properly managed, could really take up a lot of people?
Yes, the creative economy is one of the most lucrative fields that if any government sits down to actually invest in, they would be surprised at the returns. I think there was even a report by the UN recently, and you would see that the value is almost like a 200 billion. We do not want to mention that so loudly because we do not want to try and make it something that, you know, people are going to start looking at. But then you'll see that other people outside are investing into the industry in Kenya, sending money, the UN and other fundings, but we don't even get to receive it because there are no proper structures allocated for us to be able to get, especially at the grassroots level, for the people that are doing the most work with regards to the creative economy. It's not the creator that's making the money. Inaishanga mahali hapo because the structures are not there. So that works in terms of the people that would not want that money to get down, but then it's hurting every single creative in here because we're doing the most work and not seeing the results, despite there being allocations and budgets being set aside for this particular venture.
All right.
Yeah.
How have streaming platforms like Showmax, Netflix changed the game?
Well, they have given people an avenue, one, to be employed, especially us who are in the industry. I'll tell you for a fact, something like Showmax has been the main employer for many actors for the past 2 or 3 years. If not for that platform, Showmax, and Netflix, and, you know, Maisha Magic a bit, I don't think tungekuwa na jobs. And so now, instead of welcoming and creating very lucrative policies that are gonna make even more people come in, like Peacock, like HBO, we find ourselves in situations where most streaming platforms would want to try and, you know, indulge in Kenya, but then the policies are not friendly, and the environment is not friendly, the audience is not very much receptive because of the proper lack of structures and funding necessary to make it a lucrative field.
Okay.
So they're struggling really to get in Like Netflix right now has been really struggling to get into Kenya properly, as they have in Nigeria and in South Africa, because there's no much viewership that they can get, because people are not that much exposed to that, and because the government and everybody else involved in the creative sector is not very much open to seeing how they can make these things friendly. That's why we'll see someone like Idris Elba want to collaborate with Tanzania, and why not Kenya? You get, you'll see people like Priyanka Chopra were trying to shoot something in Kenya, and it was around the time that it was very unstable because of, you know, the June demonstrations and stuff. They took their projects to South Africa because of their safety. Are you seeing how much we are losing because we do not have proper organization? Yeah.
I mean, but the talent is there because, like MTV Sugar, I think I first saw Lupita Nyong'o on MTV Sugar, and look, I mean, she was a breakout star once she went to Hollywood, although she had studied there. So you're saying there is inadequate support?
Yes, there is inadequate support. Lupita Nyong'o went there to do her own personal studies. It's not Sugar that took her there.
Yeah.
We only know her because she did Sugar here.
Yeah.
But if she'd never done it, we'd probably never know about it and just be like, oh, that's a Kenyan out there. There are many other who are still doing it. Mumbi Maina was in Matrix. Nobody knows. So I'm saying there is inadequate support, and that is the reason as to why that field is not getting as much exposure and as much resources as it should be to enable us get more.
Okay, because I'm just thinking in terms of film production or even TV production, there are so many people even behind the scenes. So it's not just about the on-screen talent. There's the technical team just like here. So I'm sure it could employ a lot of people. All right, Wakili, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk intellectual property.
Yes.
People are generating content.
Sure.
Every other day. Like, is it once you post it, it is yours and nobody else can steal your idea, or is it a free-for-all?
Thank you so much for that. And I'll start from where my colleague finished, whereby we are talking about creative economy, and we are talking about money by the end of the day. And, you know, as a country or any other country in the world, anything to do with money has something attached to it called tax.
Yeah.
And this is where now the government has an interest. So creative economy is not just an economy that is standalone. It's an economy in the whole spectrum of the country's GDP. And we are not just talking about you being creative. You know, by the end of the day, as much as you are saying that the government is not helping you generate anything, but by the end of the day, government has a stake in whatever you do. And that's why even in the Constitution, Article 33, talks about freedom of expression. You have that freedom. You can express yourself the way you want. But the moment you express yourself in a manner that generates income for you, this is where it becomes tricky. The government has to come in to control that sector. If you just be creative and do whatever you do without necessarily expecting anything in return, no one will bother you. But of course, where there is a right, there's always an obligation. So if you are creating, make sure whatever you are creating does not harm your next friend or your next neighbor. So if you are creating something and it generates income for you, by the end of the day, the government will have an interest. Because even where we are seated right now, we are seated right now here, and we're enjoying this safety because of someone somewhere did something. Our safety, for example, it is in the hands of the government. So it's not just about, now, the government is not doing anything for us. The government is not doing this or that. But what have you done for your own? And I think that's why, even right now as you're speaking, there's a bill in the Senate. It's called the Creative Economy Support Bill, that now is looking into trying to streamline the creative economy industry, to come up with the policies, to come up with the structures, come up with the bodies that will at least try to control how this content is created, how you can monetize this content, how someone can be able to apply and become a content creator.
how someone can be able to actually know how to monetize their content, and even basic knowledge. You know, some people know how to create content, yes, but they don't know how this content can be turned into money. Yeah. So there is, in that bill, there's a proposal to even change the curriculum or include in the curriculum the creative economy, the ideas, and come up with the structures that if you realize your son, your daughter, your brother, your niece, or whoever is someone who is into creativity, you nurture them. And then by the end of the day, you try to make a living out of it. And when you're making a living, you know, of course, taxes will have to come into play. Mm-hmm. So as much as it is, creative economy is not something that is natural. It's not something that is like it was there before. It's something that comes up due to creativity of, it's not something that exists. You have to be unique and come up with something that is unique to you as a person, and then by the end of the day, you try to get a living out of it. And for that, the government has to come in, and it's doing something, and it's what's doing, it's not that bad, even though it is still, there are still challenges here and there, because as an artist, I can attest from my colleague there who said that the 5% withholding tax, they are taking this money, but by the end of the day, we are not feeling what they're doing for us. But behind the scenes, there's a lot that's being done for us. For example, you are paying for that Wi-Fi, yes, but how has that Wi-Fi reached you? It is something that you need to ponder about. You are paying, you have money, yes, you can buy that phone, but how has that phone reached you? You are living in maybe in a superb area, you are enjoying that security. How is that security? So if you try to think about it, you'll realize that as much as we, as Kenyans, we like saying, oh, the government is not doing this, oh, we are not doing this, oh, it's just taking our money. But by the end of the day, it's true, as we are speaking right now, we don't have structures that are streamlining this industry. And that's why we are falling behind when you compare with countries like, for example, Nigeria and South Africa. I know most of us, when we were growing up, we used to watch those Nigerian movies, but not Kenyan content used to be at that level. Why? Why are they far ahead of us? Maybe they realized this way earlier, and they streamlined this industry. They came up with structures, they came up with bodies that govern this industry. And I think by the end of the day, it is the duty of the government. It doesn't matter which government, it's the government of the day that is the duty to make sure that at least this industry is streamlined. We have structures in place, and by the end of the day, they should not just think about now how to get taxes out of it, but also how to make sure that they take advantage of these monies that comes and then disappears. You know, if you do something and then you are not able to enjoy the fruits of that something, you will not wake up the following day to go do the same thing. But if you are getting the fruits, money is able, the structures are there, monies are able to come in, you will be more creative, and you will tend to come up with more content. And it's not only you who will benefit, but also your neighbor, your mom, your brother, even the government itself will benefit from all this. All right. So yes, about intellectual property. Okay, just put a pin in that. Yes.
Presenter Ali, I know like on platforms like Kindle or Audible, it's taxed now, right? Yes. If I subscribe, that subscription, I have to pay tax. When you monetize your content, are you paying tax on that?
A lot of taxes. For example, I'll give you an example. On YouTube, we pay up to 30%. And you can imagine the money you made, YouTube, first of all, took 45%. Sure. Okay? And then after you make that 45%, you're going to be taxed up to 30% of that 55%, the remaining 55%. And now when you come back home, you have to be taxed again.
5%.
5%. So the question is, are we creating for the taxes? You know, sometimes it's crazy. But I do understand, I do hear, you know, his point of view. Yeah. But I think the point does not come home when they start with the taxes instead of starting with the structures.
Yes, I agree.
I think that's just my main concern. They have to make the structures work so that they can get to the taxes instead of starting with the taxes. And then now they're using the money they've made from the taxes now to create the structures. For example, let me ask you, if he says, how did the Wi-Fi reach me? Okay, how would it reach me if I didn't have the money? You understand? How I'm living in a posh area and I have security, right?
You paid for it.
I paid for that, you know, posh area and that security at the end of the day. So I think my main concern would be, of course, I've seen many things. As a person in the industry, I've seen a few things that the government has done because they promised to monetize Meta. Right now, I'm earning off Facebook. That is something I think I've been doing for the past like a year or so. And that is something they promised and they've done. But now when it comes to other creators, even in the rural areas, who do not even have access to that security, that Wi-Fi and everything, there was promise of public hotspots. Yes, we haven't seen that. Because at some point, you know, us being here, we might feel like, you know, it doesn't concern us. We're making money, I can pay that 5%. But you can imagine a creator who's making, you know, nothing, and they still have to be taxed that 5%. So it's coming from a point of the struggle we went through before we got where we are. I think what really pushed us would be per se just our passion. But now the economy is getting tougher. It's even, let me tell you, for example, to create a good YouTube video, just a very good YouTube video, it will cost you a studio session of around like an hour. Then you'll pay on the list, you'll pay like 10,000. That is for the production. Then you'll pay like another 5,000 to 10,000 for the editing. And then you have your graphics guy who does, you know, a thing or two. That is another 5,000. How much is that?
25.
25,000.
5,000.
Okay. If you're creating content for a Kenyan, the CPM ranges. CPM is what the advertisers pay. Okay. Yeah. The advertisers pay something like $2 to $3 for every 1,000 views. Okay, so you're getting 55% of that. So let's say you're even getting 50%. That means you're making $1 to $2 from every 1,000 views. So that means if you get 1 million views, okay, the most you could make is around 100,000 Kenya shillings. Then the question is, who makes 1 million views every day?
No.
Rare.
So think of it of just the average creator getting like 200,000 views on YouTube, the average. So looking at that CPM, it tells you that they're making at most around 20K.
Yeah.
Sawa. Now that 20K, tax it 30%.
What?
Now that 20K, come home and tax it 5%. How much are you left with? And that is not in one video. I'm talking about all the videos you've created. But the cost of production was actually 25,000 for one video. And you're looking at doing 10 videos in a month. That is 250,000. Yet you're getting even less than 10% of that. And still, it's going to be taxed. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
You have something to add?
Yes, I think if I was given a different situation or something to say about that, I would strongly agree with what he said. You cannot go for taxes before the structures. The proper structure should be, we first do the law, we set the policies, and then after the policies, they dictate every other thing that follows. I think what I said before, the creative economy was something that was ignored for a very long time because they did not think it was a lucrative field up until COVID happened and everybody was at home and everybody realized what? There's content creation, there's movies, there's music. Oh my God, this is a field we can now. And then now everybody right now, including the government, is running to now set up a bill because now they've realized something we need to address. And even in that bill that you mentioned, I know it's there, it has finished the second reading. There is nothing that has been put in place in that bill that was going to benefit the creative as per how it was written. I attended the public participation forum for it, and we strongly disagreed with whatever had been presented there, such to the point that I and a few other people that attended it have set up our own society called Sauti ya Ubunifu to come up with an alternative bill that we're going to give creatives for them to be able to see how their needs have been met. It didn't cater for the different industries. It didn't cater for how they're actually going to make money. It didn't cater for policies. They just made a general bill called the Creative Economy Bill. And if you look at the practical aspect of it, there was nothing that could have been enforced based off of how it was. And it has now passed the second reading at the Senate. And recently, I saw the PS Fikirini said that because there was also another bill, now they're going to, when they get to Parliament, they're going to discuss and combine the ideologies. I think it's also important for my society to be called because we also have our own bill that is more practical so that we can be able to give it to more creatives. They can have a chance to public participate and give their views, and then we can have something concrete that is actually working on the ground, not just based off of on what the government is assuming is happening. Because you can be sure the people that are sometimes setting up these rules do not have this knowledge, and they didn't ask President Ali for that kind of information. So they just set up things based off of other bills or other industries, and that's not how you handle the creative economy. It is very diverse, and because of that diversity, you have to treat it with the importance it deserves. It deserves to be in a particular setup on its own, not in the Ministry of ICT. Tomorrow it is in youth. Tomorrow it is in culture. So who is actually catering to us? Do you understand the question?
Yeah,
because now I don't even know where to go to. There are different branches. Everybody's taking you here and there. So the moment they give it the seriousness it deserves, that is when every creative is going to benefit, and that is when it's going to be lucrative enough to actually get the government the taxes they want to get.
Okay.
I don't know why that is really not clear to the particular people
so
involved.
they're putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
Maybe just a quick rejoinder.
Go ahead.
You know, a creative economy is not something that has always been there.
Yeah.
That is a fact that we need to agree with.
Yeah.
And you know, way back in the before the society became the way it is, laws are there, or laws are normally made to solve a certain problem in the society. In most cases, there's always a problem, and then we look for a way to solve that problem. So if we are alive to the fact that this is a venture that was not there before, and no one really knew or anticipated that we could be here right now. So it is when we are structuring laws, or we are coming up with laws, we normally solve a certain problem in the society. So this is a problem that we have right now. Yeah. It is a venture that no one was really, quote unquote, interested in, including the government and even the artists themselves. No one knew that you can actually make content and get money out of it. But right now, we are in that spectrum. So we need to get to be alive to the fact that it is a problem that needs to be solved. And it can only be solved by bringing all these minds and ideas together.
Okay.
So someone somewhere came up with that idea of the creative economy support bill. In fact, the bill, basically, it supports the content creators. But by the end of the day, of course, it's not just supporting. Sorry? How specifically? By coming up with structures, by coming up with administrative bodies, by trying to, it proposes the government to budget and set aside funds to come up with ICT hubs and structures and bodies that help the content creators to
But weren't ICT hubs part of the manifesto?
I thought.
Yes, it's part of the manifesto, but this is a problem that is there that we need to solve it right away. And that's why she said she has her own, quote unquote, her own bill. And in fact, there were 4 different bills at the Senate that they were to be merged, because these are the ideas from different sectors, not only from the government sector, but also from the content creators themselves, and also from the consumers. You know, by the end of the day, even the consumers have something to say about the content that they are consuming. So it's about the ideas coming together and coming up with a structure, with a policy that works for everyone. Okay. Because it is a problem that is there now, so we need to solve it. And laws are there to solve problems.
Okay. So what does the next level look like for you, Maria? The next level, like when you elevate, now what does that elevation look like for you?
Learning about monetization and how I can monetize the kind of content I'm making for different industries and different people, and whatever level they are, and how they can consume it, and how I can, monetize from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you've met presenter Ali.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
On set today.
Yeah.
All right. Young commander, what kind of support would you require to grow in your craft?
The kind of support I want, I would... Okay. Support. I just want people to give an ear to this underground, like the upcoming artists, yeah, so that they should embrace us, so hadi situfike hapo juu. Nacheki, not every day, hadi wakitujengea hizo ma studio wanajenga. You see, let me tell you something. In talent, there is no social background, like hakuna tajiri na maskini. Kama unajua kuimba, yani, in one way or the other, hata record na simu inakaji, ita trend, like you will get the exposure, you see. So hizi studio wanataka kutujengea mingi huko mtaani, kuna venye zitasaidia kitu inafaa kutusaidia sana ni wa embrace talent ziko huku chini kwa ground, because huku chini waseni wabaya sana.
Okay, how would they embrace that talent?
By giving us a chance on these platforms like media, playing us, DJs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking to us, sasa unatuongelesha watazamaji, and also people with platforms. Ruguru, why the choice to go independent vis-a-vis record label? Is it where we don't have record labels, or?
We do have record labels. It's just there's specific struggles that you need to kind of weigh when it comes to being signed versus being independent. And I feel like for me personally, I felt that I would do better independent. Being signed comes with a lot of politics and a lot of creative, what's it called? Like a holdback creatively, kind of like a nozzle that's been put on you. You don't have much say in the music that you make, the content you create. There's a lot of people in your ear that leads to you maybe even straying very, very far from your values, what you actually want to put out into the world. Rather, that's what I experienced.
So there is creative freedom as an independent? A
lot of creative freedom. And it comes with its struggles, obviously. When you're signed, you have kind of like a safety net. You have financial stability. You have a lot of connections, and it's kind of like a step higher. But creatively, it's rather, personally, creatively, it's a mess.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just figured that, weighing the struggles, I'd rather be independent.
Okay. I mean, recently we saw Bien do his US tour. Mm-hmm. We saw him on The Breakfast Club. We saw, is it Nyashinsky, who was signed to
Sony.
Yeah. Do you think we are gaining more international recognition as East African artists?
100%. We really are. I think it's definitely a growing industry. And I love our diaspora especially because we really go out into the world and spread our music wherever we are. So that helps a lot. In terms of like big labels like Sony and everything, I think we're really getting their recognition as well. So it's definitely growing. It's gonna become bigger, obviously, but right now it's on a good path.
So Grammys in Africa?
100%. In Kenya, I don't know. But
lastly, for you, Ruguru, what next for you? Do you do like international tours as well? Is that something you're looking to do?
Yeah, definitely. That's the next level, like that was mentioned. I definitely want to tour Africa. I definitely want to experience different cultures, create music with different people from all around the continent, from all around the world, and get to the point where I can tour the world and sing like in freaking Finland or something. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. All right, Presenter Ali, what does the next level look like for you? And what kind of support would you require?
I believe it step by step, ngazi kwa ngazi. I think we've grown our platform in such a way that we're the biggest trading podcast right now in Africa.
Good job.
And we're starting our tour on 5th October. We're going to Dubai. We have lined up podcasts for international forex traders. We also will also be doing the first ever forex trading seminar for Kenyans in Dubai and Africans in diaspora. Actually, it will be on 5th of October. Entry is absolutely free, just to empower the people out there and tell them that you can use trading as a tool to financial freedom. So mainly for me is just now, going international. We have scheduled for tours in Qatar, Mauritius, Thailand, all to just do podcasts out there and try to tap into that market. What I told you about creating content that's not necessarily being consumed by Kenyans. Yeah.
All right. Civil, what would the next level look like for you?
The next level would look like for me having proper policies that would allow from the grassroots people to know and understand once they finish school that if a child tells you, today I want to be an actor, there's an acting school available, there are proper resources available, the equipment are more affordable to purchase, the ICT hubs have been set, like now there's the creative entertainment hubs that is usually iHub in Lavington, where creators can go create for free. Those are some of the things we're talking about. People do not have the burden of thinking about studio space, thinking about editing. Those have been adequately provided because kuna watu wamehave kuteseka ndio kufike hapo. Like people coming to Kenya to shoot movies are not worried about the safety, are not worried about the policies because the rates are more friendly. People wanting to do international tours like my friend here doesn't have to get worried about, the visa because things have been taken care of properly. When my friend here goes to do a show and the promoter anataka kumgonga vibaya pesa, there are limited amounts of money that you should get paid for. You get like such things that would allow us to be able to, coexist alongside every other field. You see why it's usually a threat when teachers say they're going on a strike? Because they speak in one voice. So the day that creators also will come together and we also have one body that's supporting us where we can, take our complaints and it is adhering to most of us, and then someone is paying attention to that. That's what the next level looks like. That if today we say, atulipi iyo percentage until this and this is done, that's actually a reality and it's not just a threat. It happens in Nigeria where they're saying, if this actor says they're not going to get paid this amount of money, for example, because it's low and stuff, and they speak like that, like 5 people, the production has to do something about it. We saw SAG-AFTRA actors go on strike recently, and production stopped up until that matter was addressed. That's what the future looks like. When something has been raised, it has a voice enough for that to be heard. And I'd love to be on the forefront of that through Orange Matters.
Wow.
Because I speak for the orange economy.
All right.
Yeah.
Makofi kwako, last word in a minute, Wakili.
So thank you so much. Where I want to see our creative economy is them getting the deal they deserve. By bringing structures together, by making sure policies favor them, by making sure that at least their safety is not in jeopardy. And we should give us, cut a slack for the government for this, because it has tried to do something as far as that is concerned. One, by making Kenya visa-free for all Africans. So all Africans right now can come to Kenya, and you can also go out there freely, and you can create your content without necessarily the visa hurdle. Even PS Fikirini recently, he has tried to bring all the creatives together and try to come up with something that really helps them. And despite the ICT hubs and whatnot being in the manifesto for the current government, it's still under implementation. So after the 5 years are done, we should go back to the drawing board and at least now try to mark. You've promised this, you haven't done this. You promised this, you haven't done this. So, but they're trying. That's something that at least we should give credit where it's due. They're trying. Right. And by the end of the day, it is for our own benefit. Okay. These artists, the creatives, the painters, the acrobats, okay. This all, it's a big industry. And by the end of the day, we need to at least make sure that we protect this industry. Okay. No, some people will...
Okay, sorry, I'm in extra time.
Yes.
So I do have to end the conversation here.
Thank you.
I want to thank Sybil Colette, actress. I want to thank Maria Prude, who is a model and a creative. I want to thank Tanya Ruguru, who is an artist. I want to thank presenter Ali for the masterclass, Digital Entrepreneur. And thank you, Young Commander. And I thank you, John Wesonga, advocate. That's it for Daybreak. Enjoy your weekend.
Sure.